when we're too heavily focused on the logic of things, and if there is anything logic that has to do with feelings, it's about FE, which is the group harmony. So when FI breaks FE, that's when we totally we throw the island out. Like we look at the island and humor it, long enough, but then once it breaks the FE logic, then it needs to be discussed. It's like, hey, stop breaking this. This is for the logic that makes sense to us.
I noticed that with myself for like TI. It's like if I'm trying to be consistent, and then it reaches a point where I'm. I think he's lagging.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's like for me, the TI stuff, I want to be consistent, but if I reach the point that I'm no longer being factual, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's typically when I'm like, and I start getting all, and that's like when you find the ENTPs when they start breaking FI, and people are like, why would you say that? And they're like,
oh yeah.
I think you can really like run over F and like throw FI to the sharks too, because FI can really get in the way of like I think I break FI more with NE than anything, because it's just like poking things. You're just like, but I gotta know, and people are like, don't touch that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
You're like,
no,
why?
I need that.
But I need to understand it. I need to see it. You gotta show it to me.
Although there's this interesting thing, where it's like, I think lack of understanding with like the polar, and like for ENTPs with FI, it's like in the TI area, when that starts to break, it's like with the thing Eric said in reference to one of the Islam videos he made. He was basically like, this is why women need men, and then went on to say something else. And it's like, I think in part the reason why that doesn't come off as sounding more logical is, I think, not particularly tied to his logical understanding of things. It's tied into a lack of understanding with like the FI portion of it. Because if he has an argument, he's not phrasing it in a way that sounds like a well-reasoned argument. It sounds like an emotional statement. So maybe that's another area for people.
It kind of is, because it's talking about feelings, but it's feelings of the group. This is why women need men. They need women, because of the harmony.
Yeah.
How it works out for the, essentially the E, but they don't consider the I part of it at all, that it is, sounds like a touchy thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, it might, like, I have no idea what he was talking about, but it might have been, that's a really general juxtaposition of two things, because there's so many possible relations there. Like,
so his particularly, or like,
there might have been a more specific relation that would have actually conveyed his point better.
So to give it a bit more context, he
familiar yet extremely general juxtaposition of two things.
He was speaking in particular with being emotionally soft or nice. It was like he was trying to relate that to being emotionally soft or nice, or like being lenient with situations where aggression or assertion is required.
Yeah.
And Aldrin's just chuckling.
I don't think that's always true.
Yeah, because, and I think
it's a general concept.
I think that's wholeheartedly
more understandable with this. You could have made it more specific.
Yeah,
I think it's I think it's wholeheartedly like untrue in that sense, because there's plenty of situations where we're like relating it to what he's talking about, like saying like, no, we need to put our foot down, things like that. Pick any type 8 woman. Pick any type 8 woman, and they're going to be more assertive on that issue than I am.
Exactly. Saw, Loki.
Yeah.
Oh, saw, dude.
Saw.
So it's like, It's like that's one of those situations where it's like, I think for the
He
poor,
could have picked an example that was less, that would have been more difficult to find consistency holes in. Could have framed it in a way that was a little harder to attack. That's the thing. But he went for something that most people, like, honestly, on a shallower level, probably would easier, a little more digestible, but not quite as consistently viable. Interesting trade-off.
it's like, and I always hate those situations because it's like somebody might be talking about something. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting to talk about, and then they end their tirade with, and that's why we should gun down the kikes, and then you're just like, damn it! It's like, way to just shoot in the ass any opportunity we have to talk about this shit.
Right? It's so interesting until wow.
I'm like, and that's the point where when it comes to FI, like, you know, you get the ENTP that could be rambling on about like how feelings can evolve, feelings, and then it's at that point that I'm like, God damn it, why'd you have to get your feelings involved in this shit? We were talking about something.
It's bad because they don't know how to handle it at all.
And so I think it's funny how it's like in the polar.
It's just happening.
Yeah, I think how it's funny. Like, it seems like in the polar, that's where you can become contradictory in the most self-defeating way.
You know what I definitely think it is? It's again that thing I was saying about not thinking about your feelings, like not exploring them in that sense, like not paying attention to them. When ENTPs, I guess, get feelings, because we all have feelings, you know. It's just that we don't pay attention to them, so we don't see that.
Right.
You know, we don't think about that when we talk.
And so I think that's funny. It's like with the concept of like socionics duals, you get ENTPs and ESTPs both having polar FI. And I know at least like with the STPs, I've heard Marjay describe them before as like actually when it comes to emotionality, actually being fairly childlike. It's like sort of having this sort of inner child sort of vibe where it's like when you tap into that emotional core, it's like, you know, there's a bit more of that vulnerability or like a bit more of that like not as much, not as being as adept at handling things as perhaps like another type. So I think what's funny is like, you know, you get like ISFJs or INFJs that happens to be in some of those situations. I definitely don't want to paint the picture that it's like, oh, because I have higher F, I'm consistently more, you know, emotionally stable or something like that. It's just that, because like there's plenty of situations that I would ignore my feelings, or I wouldn't go enough into depth with them. But I don't know, I still feel like that there's some screaming inconsistencies that I don't typically blunder on, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. I think that FI users tend to, it's just a different way of doing it. Like FE, I mean, ENTPs can come off like they're, I don't know, like FI users tend to, they value their own feelings. So they say them despite the group, you know what I mean? Whereas if you have FI and you're polar, you're not delving into why you're feeling the way you're feeling. So you're just NETIing the shit out of it, especially NEing it, you know? And so it comes off kind of the same way sometimes even, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, you say how you feel, you know?
Who's Shame?
That's how he calls me. My name is Shame to him instead of Shane.
Last time Shame saw me, he could not even wait 4 minutes after I left until he called me a sociopath. Loki coming in with the feelings.
Did I really call you a sociopath? I don't think I did.
Island of lepers, man, even when they're not there.
Show me that. I'd like to know the context of when I called you a sociopath. You trying to start shit? You trying to troll me, buddy? I think he's trying to troll me.
Called a sociopath. I prefer psychopath much more. Do you prefer that one, Loki?
I usually don't accuse anybody of being a sociopath like that, except for my one buddy.
I'm not a psychopath. I'm just a highly functioning sociopath.
Oh, way to be unoriginal.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Are you projecting? Did I really though? No joke. Are you trolling me or no?
No, you were.
What did I say?
No, I was back in the with Susanna debacle back then. It's a few weeks, 2 weeks ago, I think.
No,
I don't really.
I don't think I meant to literally.
I don't really care. I just that's the last time I saw you, so that
Oh,
so
word.
it
No,
just
no joke.
came
Though.
to my mind.
If we were talking about that, I probably just used it as more of an example. I don't think I meant it literally. I just meant that in probably comparative in a sense, like an extreme.
Look who's getting all defensive.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't like
That's
making
what I'm talking
conclusions
about,
like that.
Nah, no worries, man. No harm's done.
Yeah, word, dude.
Polar FI. No.
Right.
Uh,
I don't know. It sounded It sounded unlike me. To just, like, mock somebody like that completely.
Sorry, I got a new metaphor. So you know, talking about the island of lepers.
Yeah.
Here's the kicker: it's that they don't realize that every time you black out, you're the one bringing lepers onto the island.
What? Leopard? What's that?
Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay.
You black out and wake up on FI Island as an ENTP. You think, God damn, there's this fucking leper problem. You don't realize you're the one feeding them. You're bringing them on the boat and be like, come live on my island. And then you wake up and you're like, what the fuck was that?
One thing I really like about this chat room and shit is that I learned so many advanced English words that I've never heard before. Like leper, never heard that before.
Really?
Leper is
Oh,
like people don't really get leprosy in, you know, Western civilization because there's like medicine. So
nobody gets it anymore, really.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm reading about
yeah,
it.
it's kind of like polio in a way, but yeah, leprosy.
I think you get it from
Good old-
armadillos.
desirable, untouchable outcast, kind of is in a general term, is kind of what's.
Yeah, you can use it more in that sense.
I would say that.
Okay. I know where it is. I just have to translate it into Norwegian.
I would say that polar FI is an accidental cultivator of you know, lepers. It's like could relate it to bad feelings, but it's like
It builds them up. Yeah.
where do all these bad fucking feelings keep coming from? I
It's
guarantee
probably
you-
like it cultivates them by unattending to them, and then when you end up blacking out on the island, they're all there.
It's kind of like leaving something.
You know, like curing the lepers or killing the lepers when they came up. You just kind of like forgot
looking
and
at
let the lepers go to the island, and then they just kind of accumulate.
I'm looking at pictures right now. It looks like they have like taken the drug called crocodile.
Yeah, that's pretty much what crocodile does to you, and sort of.
Yeah, it looks like the same shit.
Yeah, it's like your skin deteriorates.
Yuck.
Yeah, it's like horrible, and back in the day used to be incurable. Like huge in Christianity.
The
So,
devil has
like-
come.
So like another way you could look at it is FI. It's kind of like you're Australia, and your actual feelings are like the rabbits that were introduced that fucking decimated everything.
Like, what the fuck is this? Fucking up Australia.
And no proper measures taken to eradicate the. And now keep in mind, when I'm saying eradicating, I know the ENTP go-to is just like, you mean eradicate feelings? No, I don't mean eradicate your feelings. I mean the bad connections or bad logic that results from them.
You're assuming so much.
Yeah, I am assuming a lot. And
Denying the shit out of things.
And forgive me for being accurate. You can sort that out in your feelings later.
Okay. Like,
The feeler
happened.
problem is having to arrive at the conclusion that other people were in fact logically accurate and